Thank you, Pastor Kenneth. Thank you, Pastor Sandra, for joining us for this talk show. I would call it more of like a chit chat, and we are really privileged, and I want to say that it's been a long time coming. I've always wanted to talk about this topic, about finding the one. So I just want to give introduction, give a bit of for our audience. How did you guys start off in terms of meeting each other? For the benefit of our audience, to know your history, the genesis of investment.
We were part of the same church, FGA KL, and we got to know each other a little bit more in the youth ministry. It used to be called YF, Youth Fellowship. We joke, or I at least joke about Pastor Sandra having no problems in that area because people were lining up, men were lining up to get her attention. For me, I was privileged to have the Lord involved in my life from the start. He injected fire in me that I never could have done myself, never could have found myself. The fire caused me to want only His best, because anything less will cause me not to be able to serve Him the way I knew I was called to. And I also knew at a very young age that a relationship, right or wrong, would be the one that would make it or break it. It seems like nothing else is more powerful. Not even a career, not money, not anything else. It is a relationship. You can be poor and have a great relationship and still be rich. And you can be rich and have a poor relationship and be poor. When I finally knew that I would want to have someone like Pastor Sandra, because she was also serious about things of God. There was no messing around. She's also jovial. She loves to laugh. She loves life. But when it comes to things of God, she was very serious. No messing around. She loves missions and all that kind of stuff. And she was also a worship leader, so you could see even when she was leading worship that there was fire there. And I think my fire connected with that fire in that sense. You kind of found your match, as it were. And so there started a longing in my heart to, if I wanted a life partner, it would be someone like that. So I began to pray, and that also was led by the Lord. Because when I tell the story, a lot of people shake their head, go like, "How did you pray for 3.5 years?" And I come back to the place whereby I already knew from the Lord that you cannot mess up with this one, because if you mess up with relationship, you are actually messing up with your future and even your destiny. And also another sentence that continued to come into my mind was that people spend so long studying just to become somebody, but then after some years they retire even from that job. But you never retire from being married, and yet we take so little time to get ready for it. People spend more time becoming a doctor, studying for that, and so that sentence will come back again and again. How much emphasis and how much seriousness are you going to put into something that lasts until the day you die? So because of that, I thought the 3.5 years, it was tough, not easy. Prayed, sought the Lord, had tough times because Pastor Sandra was of no clue at all. I didn't give any signs, any clue. And so guys were still after her. Those were times where it was probably tough because this is a lady you like and she seems to have a boyfriend. But the Lord told me, don't say anything, just continue to trust me. That's how we met. That's what went on in my heart, at least.
So Pastor Sandra, you knew some of these things. He said that but did you have a women's intuition or any inclination?
He's my friend. He's my guy friend, and I didn't have any expectations. I was just busy with my own life, so not much of a clue. I was dating someone else, but of course, the guy that I was dating, or the two guys that I dated, did not have the same passion or desire for the same things, and one of it mainly was just a heart for God and for missions. And I thought it was probably not going to happen lah. That I would not find anyone who would share the same heart. And maybe it was just too far-fetched lah, to find someone that would want to do missions together, like go for missions. And so I kind of left it in the shelf for a while, and hung out with other guys. So with 2 relationships that didn't really work out because I just couldn't respect them, or something just didn't click. Although I may have enjoyed the friendship and sort of relationship, but there was a stirring in my heart to want something more. And one of it was that the person that I would end up marrying would be able to lead me, that I could respect, and then secondly that we could serve God together, and one of the main chunk of it was I had the desire to go out, to reach out into other nations. So because that wasn't found, I thought that was it, until being friends, we went for a mission trip together, and that's when I suppose there was the joke that we were sharing. I said that he actually never tried to date me, and that opened a can of worms, which I'm married to him now, which brought him to have the courage and probably God's timing to just let me know that there was an interest for some time. But because I was already dating someone, I said that that's not going to be possible, and I think I would need some time to work through that. So I think he had already prayed 3.5 years. So I had asked for another 6 months. So I asked for 6 months to give me time to think through this. And in the relationship that I was in, I had already had doubts in that relationship, and I was asking God to show me whether this was the man that the guy that I was currently dating, was he the one that I should commit to carry on. And so in that 6 months, that guy dropped me when I told him that I wanted to go and serve God full time.
Okay.
He was very angry, so he said he will break up with me. So he broke up with me. And only to a couple of days later saying, "Oh, sorry, I don't want to break up." And I said, too late, because I wanted to leave my, to finish my secular career and go into a training to be either to be an English teacher or more like English teacher, so I could go out into different nations. And so that took me 6 months. We had been friends for more than 6 years by that time. And so I took 6 months. So for him, it would have been 4 years of waiting, 6 months for me praying. And I knew that when he spoke to me about his interest, something clicked. I knew that, wow, although I never knew he was interested in me, but something clicked. I said, this is like the voice that said, this is the man. But I took 6 months lah. And it was only after 6 months, after settling, my own heart and come without any baggage, that I agreed to start a relationship with him. So that would have been 4 years of praying from his side, 6 months of me praying, and then,
I want to go back to this, topic about the one. But I'm actually interested to hear from both of you. Is there such a thing as one person that has been specially prepared and reserved for you? And is there any risk in terms of adopting that type of view for yourself and for other people as well?
I've courted, I think, quite a few controversies in what I'm about to tell you. And my wife knows this because the first few years we talked about it. I'm actually a big believer that there is one. I am. And that's why I prayed for 3.5 years. Because if I didn't believe that, then I would be looking. So I think it starts from where I started just now about, yes, I have a calling, I have a destiny, and if someone's going to be part of that, they have got to add to that, not subtract from that. And therefore God has a person, the one, if you like to call it that, So in my prayer and in my downloading from the Lord, I knew that in his mind he already had, in that sense. Because it's hard to also say, if you don't believe in the one, it's hard to say that he never knew. God never knew who you will end up with.
That's correct.
So I almost can't accept that, that he never knew who you end up with. So in that angle, I believe that is the one. I believe that in God's mind, he already had that person. I believe that he knew when I would be born, when Sandra would be born. It would be around that. It won't be 30 years apart. And even if it's not the same church, it will be the same university. Something that will cause us to meet. It's God, and so I want what is His. So in that sense, from that angle, I do believe there is that one that He has in store for me. So I wait upon Him.
Yep.
In fact, when I look into Genesis, it does say that when He saw that it was not good that man be alone,
Yes.
God is the one who created and brought the woman to the man. So, and already a lot of animals came already to Adam, and he named them all, and it was said that none
Yes.
was suitable.
Correct.
Then God had to take from Adam and make a woman and bring her to Adam. I believe that it's scriptural, it's biblical, so God would do that for me as well. He would not go, choosing last minute for me. He knew exactly, so He made a way, and all I had to do was pray, seek His face, say, God, I really want Your choice for me, the one in Your mind. I don't want anything less than that, and I would wait for that. So all this is faith, right, in Him, faith in knowing that He already has that person in mind. So yes, and a lot of people go like, you cannot do that because it's dangerous. I said, no, you listen to where I'm coming from, and from that angle, it makes more sense. So I wait, and I waited. So with all those things, I felt, God, if it's anything less than what you have in mind, I'm in trouble.
Okay.
Did I ask God first or not whether she was the one? He said yes, and He said yes in different ways, because confirmation after confirmation. And we are always looking for that. Is she or is he the one? But I think the problem is that we ask our friends, is she or he the one? And then they tell you things about how you are compatible. I don't think God uses the compatibility in the way man uses. Because compatibility in man's eyes is external most of the time. Compatibility in God's eyes is internal, how He made you and the dreams and vision He has in store for you. So that your friends can't see. They can't see 20 years ahead that you're going to do what you're supposed to do with the woman or the man who is going to help make that happen. So it's the woman's going to help me, right? In that sense, I'm old school. If there's such a thing as old school thinking of like the one. And but I believe in it. I totally believe in that. And that's why for me, if I do lose my wife, it's probably going to take me a very long time to even consider that. I can tell you that now because of the fact that I believe in this. But the thing is that if the Lord somehow has another one, He will have to open your eye. I don't go find it, because for me, I would have found my one already. That kind of thing. Of course, my hope is that we grow old together and go home together.
Yeah.
For others who might feel like, no, it can be anyone. I won't say they're wrong. In fact, I don't take this as such a big topic that I will tell a person, no, you are right or you're wrong. It's just a conviction I have. And some people will go like, my wife died 3 months ago and I'm married again. I won't say they're wrong. It's just the way they see companionship and compatibility. So, no, it's not a big sin to me, or it will cause my salvation. But you ask me a question and I feel from my own heart, I believe in that concept of God's one for you. And therefore, you wait for that one, you pray for that one. He will show you. Yeah. Is there your other question was? Are there dangers to that?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. There's risk to that because your one that you thought was the one could end up marrying
Correct.
somebody else.
The people get. I think the idea is that I think people find it hard to navigate that.
Yes.
If they miss, it's like and then they have to recover from that. What would you advise me?
Yeah. So I would say, if it was me and suddenly my one I thought was one, it marries somebody else, I would have to say now, 25 years later, I have to say now, then she was not the one. because I have to believe that God, reserves the one for me, especially when I obey, and I have done the right thing when I, if I was brought Eve 10 times and I rejected Eve, then I'm to be blamed. If Eve was brought to Adam and go like, hey, so ugly one, then too bad, then go join the giraffe, but the thing is, we also have to hear from God and open our eyes and seek God, and But if a lady or a guy ends up with someone else that you thought was the one, then already, I think bottom line is, she or he isn't or wasn't the one. So therefore, don't get so. But of course, people will get discouraged because they thought this person was the one. They hope, not just thought, hope, wish, prayed even. Maybe got one or two confirmations also. But back to God again. He's faithful. He's really, really faithful. He's good. He doesn't shortchange any one of us. So if he really had in mind that person for you, he will never shortchange you. And if we seek him and we trust him, wait upon him, he always has only the best for us. So I would say that you have to overcome it. If this person has become someone's wife, already someone's husband, get over it because you thought he was the one, but finally the one is given to you by God, and he will bring that one to you. That's what I believe in. That's why I feel like keep leading back to God, His faithfulness, His character, His love for you, His vision for the future. He's not going to mess around with it, and so we've got to trust. So anyway, I think I was blessed and fortunate that the one that I thought was the one is the one, and I didn't have to, go through feelings of like, I lost the one, and what am I going to do? I thank God for that. Maybe it's because also I paid the price for it, I don't know. But anyway, that's where I come from.
What would you say, how important it is for us to look in terms of being the one as well?
Yeah, I think we need to appreciate just how God has made us, and instead of being very busy running around trying to look for the right person, that we take time to develop ourselves. And I was told over those years as a young adult to be the right person, to be right for anything, to build and develop and to be right for anything, not just for somebody, but to be happy with who you are, and you could fit in with whether it be in your career or your church ministry, and of course ultimately we want to be the right person, to have the qualities or the at least the development to be the person or woman that will one day be a good match to God's choice for me. So developing my spirit man, of course with good leadership. I have good leaders, then they would help me also to mentor me or disciple me to developing my person, dealing with your insecurities or your lack, or you feel not good enough. Will I be enough? So all of that can be grown and developed over time as a single woman. For me, as a single woman, taking opportunity to be involved with different projects, with different groups of people, helped me also to see a bigger view of the kind of people, the kind of men I would like to marry as well. So it then puts me in a position to say, how should I prepare myself? The Lord knows, and there He helps me develop my ministry. He develops what I be confident in doing, and to have something that I can bring to that relationship as well. So it's not like me looking for a man that will be lead me and meet all my needs, but because God's preparing me to be the right person, I put myself up to be developed right, that I could also add value to that man that one day I would marry lah. So it's not just about taking, but being ready to be able to contribute and adding value. So I'm not going to suck the life out of the guy to make me complete, because God makes me complete. Yeah.
What do you see right now in terms of young adults that they might be missing in terms of grooming themselves and preparing themselves to be the one?
If it's for the girl side, I can't say so much for the men. Sometimes people are not patient. And why we're not patient is because we feel the pressure of everyone else around us. So we feel like we have to get hooked up soon. So then we don't really step back and sort of give ourselves time to appreciate that these are some of the qualities that God has put within that person, and to further develop and further love yourself and further learn to give yourself as well to the things or the things that you get opportunity to serve and work in, because that way you also get to develop oneself. We forget to develop our otherness now, what we can give to other people, not just about what we can receive. And in that way, as we learn to give and share, we then make new friends, and then perhaps in that we could be finding your connect and making that connection with the guy, okay, for the girls or for a guy that could be out there as well. And you usually meet someone in that group of friends lah. It's very few just meet someone outside and that's it, and that's one out of many. Yeah.
Probably the first missing link is I think we grow up in generations, and if one generation doesn't help another generation understand what is it that you look for in a man or a woman, then this generation has to find out for themselves. And they find out through movies, they find out through magazines, and therefore is introduced to this generation a value test of character, of compatibility that is shallow. We fall in love with external. It looks like that person I liked on the front page of the magazine. It looks like this, it looks like that. Moms were supposed to say to their daughters, look out for a gentleman. Dads will say to the son, look out for a lady. So I'm thinking to myself, very simply put, first you're a boy, you're a girl. A boy and girl doesn't get married. Then you grow up to become a man and woman. And even then, there's another stage where a man grows to become a gentleman and a woman grows to become a lady. And I think that's just to say that there's maturity. And when you come to a place of maturity, you're not looking at what you were looking at when you were a girl or a boy. And at the same time in your life, you look at just looks. Now you ask more mature people and say, no, not really. That doesn't really last. And that's probably why you're also doing this video. It's trying to pass on to generations. And so I think that's a huge missing link. That's why the Bible says one generation shall praise your name to another. Actually, all generations are supposed to connect. And we're supposed to help each other to find, what true relationships should be based on, and how marriages really succeed.
What are some of the trends that you are seeing happening right now in many marriages? And what's your thought on that?
I must say I'm a bit alarmed at divorces that are happening younger and faster. So it's not just a problem of starting, it's even an issue of ending. There is some sort of peer pressure out there, or just value out there that goes, it's just a paper. If you're not happy, just, And my friend also did it, and the other friend also did it, and her friend did it. And when I look at how people are ending it, I go back to how they started it. That's probably one of the trends, People seem to start easier and end easier. And it's really, really sad. Because my question would be, where is God in that picture? And also, is it true, like everything else in life, if you have it easier at the beginning, you have it harder at the end? Like probably that parable in the Bible, the seed is the one that's good, and the ground is the one that's the problem. So the seed of marriage has always been good. The seed of marriage has always been of God, right? But the seed is not finding grounds like it used to. And what we hope for, pray for, and the reason why we're involved in people's lives and even marriage counseling is that we're trying to help people prepare their hearts as good ground. The second part of the parable is the seed that fell on stony ground, but it said it really sprung up, and you all look happy and you all look fine, and just a little bit of sun and heat and persecution, and it just died. I don't think they're also liking it. I don't think they're happy. So I don't want to put any of these people down. They are precious. They are people who we know, people under our care, but it's still saddening.
I think a lot of marriages, when they start off, is there needs to be some kind of support system. So when you are dating, both the male and female, the girl or the guy, have someone that they can talk to, and also that there's some accountability where if the guy that you are dating also is able to have, that guy has some other older brother or another male leader, someone he looks up to, that he already is able to open up and talk and share thoughts. Same with the lady. Many times a lot of these couples, when you find that they're in trouble down the line, is because they have shut off other opinions or other sort of a community to help be that balance, or to at least help them with hard questions, or to ask them, did you think about this? Or maybe they can ask, what do you think about us? And honestly want that one voice at least to speak into their lives, to ask them to watch out for these things. Have you thought about how does this person manage his money? Or ask the question like, hey, does this guy that you're dating right now, and then in the end in the marriage, has he built a career? Is there stability in his career? You're going to marry someone who in a couple of months' time but hasn't got a job established. And these are things that will test your relationship when you're in the marriage. The frustration if the woman is far more advanced in a career, and so how they've been communicating, what were some of the expectations, and they never talk to anyone about it. And then finances is a big issue, and it can really drain people.
Sometimes even having children,
immediately with
not wrong, but then they weren't ready.
So it's not wrong, it's just being, just where you're at in life and what you're ready to take on that responsibility to give care to another person, to two persons if you're a father. You become a father, then your child, your wife first, your child. Don't expect him to change after marriage.
Exactly. I've never found that to work.
You can't say, I think he'll be okay when he's married, I think we'll be okay. But that same habit or that same issue will continue, that habit will continue.
Yeah.
And if you thought that you could hack it while you were dating, because now you're going to live together, and then it really irks you, and out of a small little thing, out of preferences, out of things that you never talked about, becomes a big issue. So I think having good friends, or both the male and female having someone to speak into their lives is pretty important.
The most common problems are always the same. It has never changed from the decades. It's always expectations and communication, and what really helps, as what you mentioned, it's the environment, that openness to not just talk with anybody, but talk with people who has your best interest. And I think because a lot of couples find it like they're so frustrated, they just resort because I can't even talk to my own family, I can't talk to the person who I'm staying with. And so the environment is so important. Thanks again so much. I've learned so much from you guys. Thank you for sharing, from the history, the journey, and I think we had the I think it's not just about the story, it's the value, what was so precious for you guys and what you really wanted to have a lot of the couples to share as well. God is good. God wants every relationship, every marriage to work as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
You're very
you.
privileged.
Thank you. Well done.